So there it is, my 95 3000 GT SL. So there's a couple reasons as to why I chose this car. One, it's because I just kind of wanted to change. Right now we're amidst the whole pandemic, COVID-19 thing. Get a new project, but yet not really go too crazy because I've, I got a little carried away with the FRS and the MR2 and, cars that I've had in the past. So I kind of wanted to get something different and something that's just gonna allow me to take my time and just kind of reflect how I feel right now. Another reason is because I've always wanted to go back into the 90s cars. It's something about the style of the 90s cars, the way it looks. There's a certain distinct flavor for 90s cars that I really like. Another reason was because I didn't want to break the bank, so I wanted to get a good deal on a car that not worry about spending too much. So there's only a few things that I'm gonna do to this car. I'm not really gonna go crazy like I did with my FRS or some of my other cars, but I just want to keep it the way it is, restored but drivable, and still add a little bit of my flavor without getting too crazy, if you will. Yeah, why don't we go take a look at the car now, if you will. So as you can see, for a 95, it's in pretty good condition. You can just look at the whole body. There's really not that much like dings or dents on it. There's just a few scratches on the car, but overall I think it's in really good condition. I just have to do a few things to this car to make it even better than it is now. So here you see some scratches right there and right here. So I'm gonna take care of all that, okay? I'll probably repaint the front and the rear bumper because of all the scratches. I'm gonna be restoring the lights because I try to do it myself. I try to restore the lights, but it's really difficult. I try to do all the steps, but there's just so much dirt and grime in there. It wasn't enough, so I'm gonna try to restore these lights. The wheels, I may not be too crazy about the chrome flavor, but back in the 90s maybe it was a big thing. It's got the quad muffler. I like that. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna, change the whole exhaust or any of that stuff because I want to keep it as stock as possible, but we'll see. We'll see if I get tired of not hearing much of the car. So another cool feature of this car is that you don't have to worry about those annoying hood stands, if you will, because it has the two shocks on the side already. I mean, I had to do that manually. I had to install that manually on my MR2 because it didn't come with it. So that's really another cool feature on this car. So as you can see, this is a 24 valve dual overhead cam SL edition. See, everything is stock on this car right now. I didn't really change anything yet. The only thing that I might add on this is probably change the airbox, if you will. But I'm not really gonna go too crazy on it. And not just because it's a 95, but the type of vehicle that it is, it's clean because 3000 GT, this is one of the cars that was really overlooked back in the days. I mean, I know I had an opportunity to get one of these cars back then, but I really didn't think much of it, because I was into other cars, right? I had 3 MR2s. I liked some of the other cars too. I enjoyed this car, but I didn't really pay attention that much to it. But now when I look at it, even after 25 years, it's pretty good. I like the way it looks. I like the shape. The interior, let's take a look. Okay, so interior's all right, but as you could tell right here, the leather's kind of coming out. So But right here, as you can see, it's all kind of worn out from, you know, drivers going in and out. So that could be repaired. Here you see everything's power windows, everything power seats, other controls right here for the power seats. Roomy. It's not really that roomy back here. I would say it's like a 2+2, but it's just like my FRS. It's not really meant to have 4 people in here. It's really more of a sports car, but at least there's seats in the back. Burgundy, it's not really my style, but it's okay for what it is. But if you really look closely, you could tell that it was a premium edition. I had to change the shift boot myself. The way, there's no like cracks on the dash. It looks really good condition, considering this car's only got 65,000 miles on it. So obviously it's rare, right? You have a car like that. It's got a power sunroof, which is great. Leather interior needs work, but you know, overall it's still in good condition. The only thing about the interior is that right here, these vents, it keeps popping out, and that's like an issue with a lot of the 3000 GTs out there. So it's not just me. The tint, it could be better. But one of the best things about this car that really makes it like a 90s time capsule, if you will, is right here. It's a cassette player, okay? A cassette player is the best part. Now, if you know what you're doing, okay, and if you have like some of like old tapes laying around, then you can really take advantage of this cool feature, which really brings you back in time. The thing about the 90s, if you guys don't know, is that it's all about playing cassettes, you know. But a little tricky because you have to kind of multitask when you're doing it, right? You gotta shift, drive, and choose what kind of cassette you want to play. And nowadays, right, all you have to do is you don't even have to do anything, you know, because you got Bluetooth and all that good stuff. But back in the days, this is what you had to do. You know, you want to play cassettes. You can't just like press a button and then it'll work. No, now you have. Back then, you had to multitask to do all this stuff. Like, you won't really see this feature in obviously the new cars anymore. So it's good to take advantage of that whole nostalgic feeling of the 95 3000 GT. Okay. So there's actually a lot of room here. Right here, this can cover up whatever you have inside. It's big enough to put 2 medium-sized luggages. 6 CD changer right here, old school. Old school right here. Take it out, as you can see, and then yeah, a 6. I think you put 6 in here. So that's the old school style. CD changer. Okay, so this thing got some cool features on it. Everything is pretty much power, like power windows. I've got the power mirrors and power sunroof. I'm tripping. See, I don't even know where the controls are. It's right here. Okay. See that? That's a cool feature right there, the power sunroof back in the days. Okay. So it's got a lot of cool features for a 90s car. I mean, even for today's standards, right? Not everything is power, so there's a lot of cool power features on this car. Look at that, starts up right away. It's easy too for like just going around town, if you will. Like easy driving. Just might not be that easy for people who don't like to drive manual, but it's got a 5-speed right here. Otherwise, it's not bad. I'm pretty close to my head is pretty close to the roof already, and I'm not even that tall. So I can imagine for tall people, they really have to adjust the seat. I mean, the seat adjusts pretty good. You know, it's a good adjustment. I feel like even the steering wheel adjustment is good. It does feel a little bit loud in here for some reason. I don't know if it's the way this car's supposed to be, but a little bit loud, you know, but otherwise, it drives alright. Yeah, it feels compact too, like while I'm driving. It feels alright, it feels pretty smooth. You know, this is like the epitome of the 90s JDM sports car, if you will. The 3000 GT alongside like the Supra, the 300ZX, NSX, or even the RX-7. They all have that similar style, you know, really sharp, sleek, and it has like really these design elements that you don't really see in like modern cars now, if you will. You know, like obviously it looks like a sports car because it is, and you know, these pretty comes with like the side skirt and the vents, the ducts. So you know, you don't really see that with newer cars now. You know, now you have to add these things, and yeah, it's more about simplicity nowadays, but back then this was cool. That's the thing about my FRS. I think after 8 years of ownership, I felt like everyone else was starting to get one after a while, and then it just started to feel normal. Even though I added so much stuff to it, I put a turbo, you know, I added a roll cage, and I powder coated this and that, and I did all these other things to it, and I spent so much money on it. It started to feel normal because other people started to get the same car. But the beauty also of having a 90s car, you may not see one on the road. It may just be you, or you know, once in a blue moon. Maybe you'll find someone else who may have one, maybe not in the same condition or whatever, but it's the rarity too. It's the novelty, the rarity of having a 90s car. So that's what's cool about it. They don't make cars like this anymore. The style that this car has and all the extras, obviously it was very expensive back then, but the fact is they just don't make cars like this anymore, and you rarely see these cars out anymore. Certainly not a car in this condition for a 25-year-old car that has 65,000 miles. Play some old school. So let's go. Here we go.